Hey guys, it's Al from Altruistic Channel, and I wanted to address kind of the thing that goes on with people when they find kind of their path in spirituality, is the sense of other people either trying to tear it down or naysay it or send conflicting energy in your direction, which is basically what it all boils down to. So when it comes to this, just kind of understand that when it comes to energy, energy is neither good nor bad. It's more based on intent. And when you receive it, it's kind of part of your journey to take that information, assess what is actually happening or what the intention is, and then do your best to transform it into something empowering. So, the way that I used to do this is that I used to just look at it for what it was. I would suddenly be having a great day, and this is always something personal. It can vary from person to person, but you have a great day, and you're in the middle of the throes of something really really empowering, and the next thing you know, you are kind of spiraling into a naysaying, I can't do this mentality, and you start to kind of go a little down the wonky. You know what I mean? And so, what I learned to do is I used to stop myself and I used to go, wait a minute, this isn't even me. But it takes a minute because by the time that you have assessed that it's not your crap coming at you, it's not your shit, you are too far into the middle of the throes of some sort of panic attack that may not necessarily be of your making. And so what you can do at that point is you stop and you assess what is true for you in that moment. And if you start to realize that there is something else at play here, then just understand that you can't ever retaliate to that type of energy because you would need to know who sent it and what you would have to know everything about it and specifically how to target it back to that individual. And the thing is that all of this is based, a lot of people would base this on superstition, it's hearsay. But you intuitively would know that it wasn't of your making and that it was directed in your path. So kind of look at it in this context. Say that you are prettier than you should be, like you're just a really pretty person, and you also you have an intellect and a wit about you that makes you very alluring to another person. Now compare that in a parallel with spirituality. Something that is the ultimate reward for humans is the ability to know that you have a connection with the grand design or with God or with Allah or whoever you play to, and then you would have a kind of a big X across your chest because it's something that people would covet. So when you're representative of someone who's true in themselves, whether it's spirituality or just one with who you are, and have come to terms with your past and what you're all about, you have to understand that there's going to be some daggers thrown in your direction. Now, the truth of the matter is that when it comes to energy, it is something that is just energy. You still have within your grip of reality how to convert it into something beneficial to you. Because if anything, look at it from this standpoint. When you have a lot of energy, whether negative or positive, coming at you, the negative, it takes much more intent and much more effort to send it to someone else and to aim it at that person. So in essence, you're kind of getting a double dose of energy that you can utilize in the best part of you. So and you what I would do is just acknowledge it and kind of go, okay, I see where the insecurity is coming from, but you know what I do have? And I would just focus on all the good things that surround that and kind of nullify that effect. And it takes some getting used to, and it sounds kind of like la 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 land and kind of like fantasy, but it's not. It's actually something that every human can do. And it's just about then believing in yourself enough to know that the energy has been nullified. And suddenly it will dissipate. And that feeling that you had of like the, oh, woe is me, and why are people hating me, will go away. And you're kind of going to be looking at it like, hate all you want. I'm just doing me. And not in an ego way, but more like in a, like, what am I going to do? I'm not going to stop my life because this other person can't seem to get it together. And then you start to really start to feel the energy, and you start to realize that it's just because they're sad or they're pathetic or whatever it is that they have going on in their world. I know I went really severe there, pathetic. But you know what I mean? Like there's layers there of hurt. And if you want, you can kind of start to hone in on what kind of layers of hurt you're feeling and kind of start building kind of almost an empathy for them. And so that you can raise your level of empathy towards humanity at the same time. But understand that when it comes to spirituality or any type of self-fulfilling, self-attained status that you earn because you're just doing you will always bear a target for you. And instead of letting it victimize you or make you feel like you have to be on guard, which is exactly what they want, you then just release the guard even further because now you take it as a learning vessel. You are a vessel of the grand design and you are learning how to discern the magic within and the magic that someone might send you. Because in the end, it's just the words. The words is just a spell. It's a spell that they've cast against you. But there's no reason for you to then change who you are or that light that shines within you to deal with some negativity that's sent your way. That's not the way it works. So instead, use it to empower yourself to understand the purpose of empathy and why empathy is so important for the race and why it's going to be the one thing that saves us in the end is the ability to not just stand for ourselves and our families, but to extend it to the community or to people all around you. And understand that you're going to have bad days. One of the greatest lessons and tenets that we have in the collective is the concept of be gentle with yourself. You are a human being. So just because you used to retaliate does not mean that you're a bad person or that you have bad karma. It just means that you did what you needed to do. In the end, you are a human being and we are all representative of God. And so at the end of the day, he's not going to besiege you with negativity or some sort of bad mojo just because you did something that you thought was the right thing to do at the time. It's when you put evil intention into motion that you create the negative karma. And so as long as you're not doing that, if you're just defending yourself and your honor or your family, there's nothing wrong with that. People get this idea in their head that you have to get rid of the negativity within the dark side of you in order to walk in divine guidance. And that's bullshit because at the end of the day, God doesn't want you to be victimized. And the worst thing that he wants is he never wants you as a human being to have his love in you and your love in him corrupted as it did with, certain religious factions. So just understand that there is a possibility that sometimes you will be tested because you are gifted. Your incarnation here may have a grander purpose than the other person's, and it's not your fault that you are trying to rise to the occasion. Do you and do the best you can be, and fuck them. At the end of the day, their karma is instant, but yours is to rise above it, to ascend the craziness and kind of take your position as a beaming light and as the beacon of something that's pure. In the end, your intention should never be of retaliation. It should just be you doing you and just owning your space. And that's the best lesson I think you can get. And that's it for me on Altruistic Channel. Later.